Hey, everybody, welcome to another interview during our Week for Life here in the Diocese of Cleveland. I'm Mike Hayes, I'm the Director of Young Adult Ministry. Today, we're going to talk about care for creation, which is a life issue, as many of you may or may not know. And we're going to head out to the Crown Point Ecology Center, and Carolyn Kean is the Interim Executive Director there. Carolyn, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for joining us. And let's start out with an easy one. What are the issues regarding care for creation that Northern Ohioans should be most concerned about? And okay, surprise, surprise, the lake, right?
Oh, the lake. You got it right. Think about our most marvelous Great Lakes, some of the biggest and best fresh water in all the world, right here in our backyard. Where do we get our drinking water from? You know it, the Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Think about where Arizona gets theirs. Not fresh water like Lake Erie, for sure. So keeping our lakes clean of chemicals and of the right pH and what have you is so critical. Along with that, where does the lake get its water from? Think of the waterways, the Cuyahoga River, the Cuyahoga Valley, all the streams that go into Lake Erie in particular, farm runoff, lawn runoff. What's coming in
Oh,
from your lawn, whether it's chemicals or fertilizer and all those kinds of things. Watershed improvements, you can read all about those kinds of things. Even on Crown Point Ecology Center, we're in Bath and right up the hill from Hale Farm and the school down in the valley. But we have two waterheads or stream heads right on the Crown Point property that go directly into the
oh wow.
Cuyahoga Valley or Cuyahoga River from here. So watershed is very, very important.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit about the more common practices that like people can just engage in, let's say in their homes, in their yards, their personal
Mhm.
items. Where could we making a dent to be
Sure.
more sustainable in our lives?
Well, just again, based on watershed, think about how we take care of our own yards. How green does your yard really need to be? How much fertilizer are you using? What kind of fertilizer? Um, Even with your plants, getting the last tiny weed out between the cracks of the bricks using Roundup. Roundup lasts a long time and
Yeah.
is not a very safe chemical for our waterways. That's one area that we can all focus on. Um, I happen to use a natural remedy using vinegar and Epsom salts. You can look up the recipe on the internet to keep the weeds out of my bricks at home. Think about food waste. How much food do you actually throw away? And how, it goes to the dump, or can you look at a small composting system within your own yard? There's actually companies in the urban areas that pick up your home compost or food waste to make compost. I can't think of the names right now, but you would be able to
Yeah.
find the quick online, research. Think about plastic. Plastic is a lifesaver, but certainly want to look at how we use plastic. I know Cuyahoga County changed to paper bags for the grocery stores, but many counties in Ohio haven't. Summit hasn't for sure. And one grocery bag or one grocery visit might take up 8 to 10 bags. And if you go to some stores, you might get double that because their bags are so not sturdy enough, so they double them up. And over the course of a year, 500 bags maybe that you take home from grocery, from other shopping trips that you use within the mall or what have you. It's huge. Think, can you use your own plastic bags or reuse them? Of course, we all can do that. That is a life changer.
Easy enough.
Well, many of us are working from home right now. I happen to be working at Crown Point. But when I take my lunch every day, do I use a Ziploc? I converted. I actually use these little plastic things that I
Oh, no
use,
kidding.
reuse every day, for whatever it is, sandwiches, soup, and what have you. And I haven't bought a box of Ziploc bags in probably close to a year, so I'm really proud of myself for that. Those are simple things that all of us can do at home.
I never
Um,
thought of that one. That was good.
oh, and I just got a phone call there. I just turned her off.
Oh, that's okay.
I'll call them back. Do you recycle? Recycling your metal and your plastics and whatever you're allowed to recycle, even cardboard, basic brown cardboard from like your Amazon boxes could be used as mulch in your own gardens too.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
saves time and money along the way.
It's interesting too. Like when I started recycling more and more, I discovered I actually had more recycling than garbage.
Yes, yes. It's a fun thing to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So look, I'm gonna go to the local grocery store. What should I look to buy to be a little more sustainable? What are there some and are there some alternatives to grocery shopping that we maybe we don't know
Yeah.
about?
Here at an organic farm, we like to say, know your food and know your farmer. So, where does your food come from? Take a deep thought. Does it come from the South, out West, a different country? Who knows? Now, we know certainly bananas and oranges and pineapples, we can't grow those and source those locally.
Sure.
But what can you buy that was locally produced to support your own farmers and knowing where your food came from? Look at your farmer, going to a local grocery store or shopping local at your usual grocery stores. I know Heinen's always has a section that says, purchased or sourced locally.
Yep.
And that's the only one I'm familiar with. Down here, I shop at the Acme and the Giant Eagle, and they do the same. So look for those sources, that things that can be done locally. There's also the option of it's called CSA, Community Supported
Oh
Agriculture.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Crown Point has one here, but clients or customers will pay a portion for the year to have vegetables grown for them throughout the season. It's usually somewhere between 10 and 20 weeks, depending on the CSA. So every week they would be able to pick up a nice bag of fresh lettuces, onions, potatoes, peppers, you name it, kind of
Yep.
food. And there's nothing better than a fresh tomato. We all know that.
Absolutely.
Uh,
The
but
parish I used to belong in, they were a drop off point for the local CSA.
yes,
So we
yeah.
would have the parish center ramp would be filled with all these grocery bags about once a month or so, and people would just come and pick their stuff up.
But there's many local farmers that have gotten together, and there's local farm markets. I am aware of the one in Tremont and
Oh, right.
Shaker Square, and I'm sure there's a couple out Lakewood Ways or in that general vicinity. That the local farmers come in groups and set up on a particular day of the week, or utilize it as a CSA pickup spot. I can go to those websites, order online what I want for that week, and then they would deliver it to me at those particular locations. It's a wonderful way to support again local, but also knowing your food, knowing the source of the food, that farmer and that farmer's philosophy and what they use on their land.
Hmm.
So
That's real
highly
interesting. I'm going to
recommend.
try that.
Yeah.
So Carolyn, tell me a bit more about Crown Point and how young adults maybe can get more involved in sustainability initiatives there.
Crown Point, I'll just share about me. I'm a 38-year veteran of the American Red Cross. I worked there all that time in biomedical services or blood services. And I found Crown Point on a whim because I came to a healthy dining series here at the farm after I retired. The farm I found had many volunteer opportunities that I participated in as office work, being in the greenhouse, transplanting those little tiny seedlings that are this big into pots, and then again into the ground as necessary. So there's so much to do here. We've used volunteers for building projects, like we built a straw bale house. Straw bale is well insulated, and it's so cool in the summer and nice and warm in the winter.
Yeah.
We utilize those small homes for our interns that work on the farm in the summer. But volunteers, again, there's office work available. There's even yard or lawn work, the flower beds, cutting the grass, let alone weeding, planting, harvesting, and washing produce ready for donation. One of the mantras and important goals of Crown Point, we are a ministry of the Dominican Sisters of
Right.
Peace, even though we are separately incorporated. We donate 20% of our harvest every year to the local food bank and other pantries
Ah,
around town. This year, 5,500 pounds of fresh produce donated. That's well over $20,000 in retail
Yeah, I
value.
was gonna say it's a lot.
And
Yeah.
this year we put in 8 garden beds, raised garden beds for volunteer donation, volunteer run, planting, harvesting. All that harvest goes directly to the food banks. So that's an area for volunteers as well. And we'd love to hear from you if you're interested. There's always funding, whether you're an individual, a group, a high school group, a college group, or just independents. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, and what's your website so they can look that up?
crownpointecology.org.
crownpointecology.org.
Mhm.
That's where you can find Carolyn Kean, who is the uh, the interim
Interim
executive.
director.
Yeah, we want to get that right, right? The interim executive director at Crown Point Ecology Center. And I'm Mike Hayes. This is a week for life, and today we've talked about care for creation, which is a life issue. Check out Pope Francis's pastoral letter on the environment with Laudato Si, and we will see you all again sometime tomorrow with another issue coming your way.